5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Good evening. Oh, what's happened to me there? Oh, look, I've been cut off. There we go. That's better. Pop that Viagra in. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, good day, goodbye, good hello. How are you? Wherever you are in the world, one of those will apply to you. Wherever you are in the world, I hope that you're having as good a weather as we are having here. Craig's already come in. Hi, Craig, how you doing? And he says, good evening, all LCFC fans. What great weather we're having. Well, better weather than a better season. It is so hot. I mean, look, I've got a fan on here. I've got the door open. Have you bought one of these? I'm going to do my TikTok advert here. Look, just put cold water on it, wring it out. And it is bloody freezing, I tell you. I've also got a fan, so I can put that fan on and blow. But you know what is good about these fans, right? Turn it off. That if I need to, because obviously I sweat a lot, basically. The reason I sweat a lot is because I'm a fat bastard. But it has on here got a torch on the end, so actually in the middle of the night I can find the food. So it's great. It's going to help you in more ways than one. If you are watching, thank you very much for doing so. I guess most of you are probably down the beach. Do join in with the comments. We're going to go through the news headlines. We're struggling a little bit to find the news headlines. Like I say, I have tuned into Zambian News Daily and Ghanaian News Weekly to try and get you the latest rumours. And probably about as reliable as the Sun, to be fair. But do join in the chat. Hi, Blue Fox, how you doing? If you're watching on Catch Up, please add your comments below. Always nice to read those. And if you're listening via your favourite podcast platform, thank you very much for lending me your ears. I'm feeling pity and Prink. Prink? What the hell's Prink? I'm feeling pity and Prink. Oh, my God. Hang on. Let me just have a drink of lager. Obviously not drunk enough yet. I'm feeling pity and Prink in this lovely, lovely weather. And as fat as I am, we've got somebody in who is disappearing in front of our very eyes. Probably by the end of the show, he'd have lost another half stone. I mean, that is how well he is doing. Jack from the Final Whistle. He's in. Let's get him in and let's have a look at what's happening down Filbert Way. Good evening, Jack. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good. I mean, you're distant. I can hardly see you. Where are you?
It's my chair a bit, you know. I don't know if it's a height difference or a weight loss.
Well, you were, like I said before, literally disappearing in front of our very eyes. Thanks so much for joining us. It was a bit last minute, so I do appreciate you standing in. Final Whistle. Links in the description below and in the title as well. So if you're not following Jack, and you know, he basically, me and Jack, we can't afford to go out and buy followers. So if you happen to be around and you're not following us, please make sure you do. Whoops. Did I say that out loud? Those that know. It is pretty quiet down Old Filbert Way, Jack, but there is a little bit going on, and I think it all falls probably into rumours and gossip rather than news. Before we actually get into that, though, 1st of July, the new PSR year comes into effect. And I think you, like me, like Leicester Fan TV, I was speaking to yesterday, we've all got the artwork ready to go because we think once the new year starts, or once the new PSR year starts, it's like the Chinese have got their own new year. Now PSR have got their own new year. Do go on the 30th of June and celebrate and get drunk. But is that when you reckon that's when it's all going to happen? They're going to make a decision on Rude. They're going to know who they're after, and they're going to sort of get him. As one goes out one door, another manager comes in the other door. Is that the day we all need to be looking at?
Yeah, it'd be like Christmas Day, wouldn't it? You know, I think everything's going to come at once regarding the football club. It's a big day for Leicester with the new PSR year, and Van Nistelrooy is very much loving it up in Italy at the minute. I think he met some friends yesterday with what I've seen on Instagram and that, but yeah, I think that's the day we're looking for. Obviously, everything is now speculation, rumours regarding exits and that. And like Rob Tanner says, he doesn't really see much happening until the new manager's confirmed.
And you can't, look, whatever we think about Ruud van Nistelrooy, and most of us, in fairness, probably want him gone, he is being treated, unless they've actually said to him, look, we can't afford to sack you until the 1st of July, but then at least you'll get your payoff and what have you. But I think he's been, apart from that, I think he's been treated quite badly. But if he was in charge, what would he actually be doing at the moment? Because the players are on holiday, or they're playing for their international teams. So, would he be doing anything? We've got, the recruitment team are in place to start looking for players anyway. Credit to John Rudkin, and I can't believe I'm saying that, for tying the youngsters down. Not literally, before anybody thinks that John Rudkin is a sexual offender. I don't mean that. Not tie them down, but tie them down to new contracts. Oh, I didn't mean. Sorry, John, if you're watching. Don't say I can't afford solicitors. So really, are we actually missing out an awful lot?
Yeah, I kind of think the club have not handled it great, have they? No. They have seen many a times last season. Have you heard anything on your job? Are you going to be here next season? Then the first thing he comes out with in his press conference at the end is, if they want me, they want me. If they don't, that's up to them. So the club have not handled many situations well, have they? Wages, contracts, players coming in and out, managers, and they've took risks. They've took gambles, and it slapped them right back in the face because they've panicked at every decision they've made. But this is the situation the club have found themselves in. They've got John Rudkin, who's the director of football, Top, who's the owner of the football club, and where's the communication to the fans? Like, what is happening? This is what the fans' frustration is, Chris, with the whole situation. They want to know what the plan is, what is happening. And maybe they could have brought out a statement to say, you know what, we hold our hands up. We have got many things wrong, and this is how we're going to put it right. And I've seen Plymouth do that. Yeah. I think Cardiff came out with a statement as well regarding what's been happening there. So that's what you want to see from Leicester, a bit of a thoughtful process to say, we are sorry, and this is how we're going to go moving forward. But it's just radio silence again in here. It's like Rudkin and Top are doing whatever they're doing. I think Top's playing polo and Rudkin's just watching the days go by and nothing's really.
And look, we love King Power for what they've done. They've given us 10 of the best years of our lives as football fans. Yeah. But it isn't the club that it used to be. It used to be a family club. You could ring up and speak to somebody. Oh, I know time moves on, etc., etc. But I just feel that we've literally. I always feel sometimes we're like a mini Manchester United.
Leicester's in the case of they've stood still. They've not moved with the times, and this is how they've got themselves in this pickle. You know, it's not the same as it used to be. I mean, 2 relegations in 3 seasons tells you how bad it's actually got at Leicester City. Yeah. We basically fell off a cliff, haven't we? We've had probably one of the biggest fall-offs in English football, you know. And I think as fans, we never thought this would happen, but it has. And there's a lot of questions to be answered.
I mean, pre-King Power, 2 relegations in 3 seasons, we'd have probably said, yeah, that's the roller coaster ride that is Leicester. But we did kind of get into a comfort zone, didn't we? You know, we're thinking like, we're never going to get there. We're a Premier League stalwart now.
Yeah, people, you know, in realisation will always say Leicester's achieved the unthinkable. They have. You know, we've always been little Leicester, haven't we? We've never thought of ourselves as a big club like a Liverpool or Man City or anything like that. We've just done things smartly and developed the club quite well. But in the last couple of years, that's not been the case. We've not moved smartly at all. We've panicked, put the alarms on, and look where it's got us. You basically in the situation we're in, and it's our own doing.
Yeah, Craig said there it's not the same club now. Blue Fox has said sadly the club cannot survive on good memories. As thankful as we all are, again, you know, very good point as well, Blue. But let's get into the news and. It has kind of gone quiet on this front because obviously, again, it could only be Leicester that we get sponsored by a club that then a gambling company that then allegedly loses its license to work. Obviously, there was lots of denials. I got an answer from BC Game who said everything was all fine and obviously we've gone through the season. Now, it was the biggest, I think it was 30-odd million, 31.5 million over 2 seasons. It is a huge, huge deal. But is this going to be like the last time with FBS? When we get relegated, are we going to lose them? Because technically 2 seasons, so this second season should be the second season of the deal. Nobody sort of said whether it is going to be, there's a get out clause for BC Game. I've got to say, if it means we're going to lose, it's 31.6 million, so we're going to lose half of that. I don't particularly want to. But Sky are reporting officials at Premier League clubs at risk of legal action over unlicensed casino sponsors. Now, this was brought out on the 25th of May, so only sort of like, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Gambling commissioners warned that club officers could face fines or imprisonment. Please, John Rudkin, arrest John Rudkin. Send him, although he'd probably get permission to work from home, work from prison. The gambling commissioner, love you, John. The gambling commissioners warned that club officials could face fines or imprisonment if found to be promoting sites that unlawfully accept UK customers. And the 2 examples that they've got are BC Game, which is obviously our sponsor, and DBet or whatever, who are Wolves sponsors.
Yeah.
Now, we know from sort of things it happened when we first got them, that you can't in this country sponsor or use BC Game. If you go onto the website, it says this is not available in your country. But obviously what they're doing is attracting the Indian and the Asian market that follow us. And, I mean, it's just another bloody thing with Leicester, isn't it?
Yeah, the things I looked on there, it just seemed like a bloody dodgy thing from the off. And there's been a lot of speculation about bankruptcy and that of BC Game. No one actually owns them now. The BC Game's now been took off the Leicester City website as a sponsor. BC Game took Leicester City off as well. So that's sort of reading between the lines of that deal's done and Leicester City have actually took their money and ran with it, Chris.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you would think that they would at least got, at the end of the season, they'll have got the 1 season money, if you like. from them. And obviously, because it's coming into law soon, I don't know if it's this season or next season, you can't actually have gambling companies on the front of your shirt anyway.
Yeah, 2026. I think they was on about Everton as well, weren't they? With the sponsor they had in front of their shirt. I think there were a couple of clubs that they were looking at. Leicester and Everton were two of them.
Right. It says here, DBet lost its licence on the 15th of May, while BC Game lost its licence in December 2024. I mean, if they lost a licence and they can't operate, why wasn't it taken off the shirts then and resold? Because that's going to fuck up PSR, isn't it?
Yeah, PSR will look at all these things because it takes into accountability all the footballing fundings, what the club actually get. So that would be one of them. And for that to go bust in the way it has and to keep it on the shirt, they could have had a chance of putting King Power on the back on the shirt, couldn't they? But they've just had to keep with it and see the season out with it.
Yeah. It says that the campaign group Coalition to End Gambling Ads told Sky News it was able to make deposits on both gambling websites despite the sites having no license to accept UK customers. Oh, ow. Yes, well, we'll see. Like you say, with Leicester, it's just, it makes Coronation Street look boring, doesn't it? Ant says, "Hi, Ant, how you doing, mate? All the best to you. Only fair thing to do is to deduct Everton 10 points. Wolves actually would be better, or even Spurs. No, Spurs, because they were the ones that finished, weren't they? But we'll see. Look, what will be, as we say, and it wouldn't be if things ran smoothly. It wouldn't be Leicester City, would it? That's the thing.
No.
Now, new rules and punishments for the 2025-26 season. I don't know if you've seen these at all, have you, Jack? Let me just get them up here. Now, this was reported last week. It's probably the Mercury being over zealous, to be honest with you. But the FA has gone over a number of changes to the laws of the game that will apply in the Championship from the start of next season. Several updates and minor clarifications, but a few could have a significant impact on how matches are played and managed next season. I mean, before we get into them, I've got to feel sorry for referees. We moan about referees, but every year they're just getting used to the rules and they go and add new ones and change them. You've got to have a bit of sympathy for them, haven't you?
Yeah, it's turned into a computer game thing now, isn't it, with football? It's a business now. It's not what football we used to know and love, and they're just changing everything. I think there was a rule in the Club World Cup the other day where if the keeper keeps it for like 6 seconds, it becomes a corner, and I'm just like, what? When did that happen?
Well, that's the first thing that's come up here. It's 8-second goalkeeper rule.
Yeah.
Goalkeepers who control the ball with their hands or arms for more than 8 seconds will now concede a corner kick to the opposition.
Crazy.
The corner must be taken from the side of the goal area where the infringement occurred, as clarified in Law 17 corner kick. To help enforce this, referees will now visibly count down the final 5 seconds once the goalkeeper has been holding the ball. This is covered under an update to Law 5, the referee, with match officials. He's following. There's going to be a test at the end, Jack, so I hope you're following this. With match officials instructed to use a clear raised arm, signalling while counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 to indicate the 8 seconds limit is approaching. So they've got to take their eyes off the game, Jack. They've got to say, right, he's held that for 3 seconds, so it's 5, 4, 3, 2. If he doesn't like the goalkeeper, 1, and it's a corner. And I think if it's and then it gets if he does it again, it's like bookings and sending offs and God's sake, what is, like you say, it's becoming real life FIFA, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, it's to stop the teams overdoing it with time, because I think they're fed up of adding all this time on. I think that's what it is with the people now. And you look at the VAR situation, I think it was Anthony Taylor the other day, where he'd spoken to the crowd about the decision and why he gave it. He gave a red card at first, and then he said he'd overruled it for a yellow. That's what you wanted to see in the Premier League for a bit. When they did bring VAR in, you wanted the referee to speak out to the stadium and say, this is the decision I've made. This is why I've made the decision. And this is the offence I'm going to give for it. But we don't get none of that. We just see him run to the screen, Chris, checking goals, checking offside, checking whatever. And that's it.
They did it in the Women's World Cup that way. My worry is that surely by the time they've explained it all, it's going to take longer than 8 seconds. So is that time added on at the end? I'm just wondering, you know what I mean? It's we're still not going to get 90 minutes, are we?
No.
So, I'm a bit confused with this one, Jack. You may be able to help me here. Under Law 3, brackets, the players' brackets, competitions have the option to implement the only the captain rule. This means only the team captain will be allowed to approach and speak to the referee regarding decisions during the match. The EFL is expected to adopt this guideline, aiming to reduce dissent and improve communication between players and officials. Now, there is a exception to that rule. So it's Law 3, Amendment 2, that if the game is being played at Old Trafford, that up to 11 players can surround the referee. I mean, I thought this had been introduced a couple of seasons ago.
Yeah, that's what needed to happen. There's a lot of players, aren't there, these days that get in the face of the referee. It bloody circulates the referee. And the thing is, the captains are the ones that need to go to the referee. Probably the only player on the pitch who needs to do it. But when it comes to the big clubs and that, they all run around the referee and try getting them sent off and everything like that. And then when it comes to like teams like Leicester who go around the referee, it's like, yeah, well, you're getting booked, and you're getting booked. Get out my face. Yeah. It feels like one rule for one and one rule for another, Chris, but I'm hoping they can actually stick it out with all the teams and not just single teams they actually fancy they can do it with.
Yes, yeah. I mean, then they're changing the rule to the drop ball. If players stopped inside the penalty area, the ball will be dropped to the defending goalkeeper. What the bloody hell? Who really gives a shit? We just want to see football. And then you've got other adjustments. Now, here we go. Like I say, make notes. Under Law 9, there is no longer a disciplinary sanction if a team official or substitute touches the ball as it's going out of play, as long as there is no intent to interfere unfairly. I didn't even bloody know that it was an offence. Law 11 has been updated to confirm that when the goalkeeper throws the ball, the last point of contact with the hand should be used when determining offside positions. And then Law 16 goal kick and 17 corner kick now include cross-references to other relevant rules, helping clarify when these restarts should be awarded. I mean, what? All I want to do is watch a game of football. I want to watch two teams run onto the pitch, 11 players each, maybe a couple of substitutions during the game, kick it from one end to the other. Hopefully the ball will go in the net a few times and we'll all go, hey, oh no. And then we all go home happy or sad. This is just like too complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. They're just bloody adding everything every year. It's like is it the semi-offside rule that they're going to try using this season as well? That should have been used bloody ages ago then, shouldn't it? If that's how they want to use it. But you just change it, Chris, and it just then becomes the mockery of what actually is football anymore, because it just feels like a more interactive game.
It is. It's. I just don't. Like I say, I sometimes think I'm getting too old for this. I am. You go down and you watch non-league soccer, as I did when I first moved down here. I went to and got quite heavily involved with Poole Town, and it's great because it's just proper football. Yeah. When you look back, I don't know if you ever watch ITV4, the Big Match Revisited. I mean, you watch that and people are kicking, shit out of each other. But it was, again, they just got on with the game, didn't they? I am getting old, I'm decided. Now, this was interesting, Jack. A Leicester City owner given a new role. Now, I have mentioned before that I did have a few people on my Facebook group saying, what the hell has this got to do with Leicester City? Duh. He's just our owner. Now, all right, maybe he's considering that he's now got a family. He's got twins, hasn't he? So maybe he wants to spend more time with them. The guy that is taking over used to run the airports of Thailand, or whatever that, official thing is called. So he's got the experience, obviously, with which is where King Power's main business is. Or do you think it's a case of maybe Top, who wasn't prepared to take on the job when his father passed, but is he kind of admitting that he needs help?
Maybe this is the case. Maybe he's had too much to deal with, and he's finally come to the realization that I actually need the workload taken off a bit, because I think it was the Bangkok Post this week. I think it was a few days ago. They was on about.
Hang on, you really read the Bangkok Post?
I did, yeah. And I've watched a video of it on YouTube, and there was a guy who goes to Thailand, and he was on about I think it's 5 airports where they're taking, I think it's duty free and that, and something to do with a contract between AOT, the airports of Thailand, and King Power. I don't know what's happening with the contract there. So the only substance Leicester City's got in bringing money in is King Power and duty free. And if that contract does end and they're reconsidering the contract, I mean, what does that tell you? Are they in a little bit of a mess, do you reckon? Or got to be answered, aren't they, quite quickly?
Yes. Yeah. Again, though, we're not going to get answers, are we? We know that. But, if he's doing that with King Power, either A, it's going to give him more time with his family, or B, it's going to give him more time maybe with Leicester. Maybe he said, look, I need to take control of Leicester because you guys that are looking after it for me are fucking it up, big style. I tend to think it's probably more, I don't think we'll see more of him taking control at Leicester, unfortunately, but there are, again, it's these little things that are niggling away that we don't have answers for. He hasn't, anybody else would have come out and said, look, this is what's happened. This guy's taking over. But I want to assure everybody at Leicester City that that's not going to affect my work or my commitment to Leicester, etc., etc. I mean, we get more information from bloody MPs when they're caught with the trousers down. They're coming out and making statements, but we're never going to get that, are we? Let's be honest.
No, there's just real lack of communication. People say that's the Thai culture of things itself. They don't really talk about a lot of things. They're very private people. Yeah. So the thing is, when you're doing good, they spoke about it, didn't they, in 2016? Yeah. Montana reiterated it. But when things have gone bad, like, you should be doing that as well. You should be saying, well, this is wrong. This is what's happened and that's happened. And there's none of that. There's no confrontation on that to say we have got many things wrong. It's just nothing's happened. It feels like nothing's changed. And the thing is, with problems, Chris, they don't change unless you fix them, and it just feels like everything's just swept under the carpet, and they're just living like Leicester's fine, Leicester City and that, it's being run the way it should be, and we've got no problems, and maybe that's what Rudkin tells Top.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, he was CEO Top, he's now going to be Group Executive Chairman, God knows what all the differences are, and this is, like I say, but from Money and Banking Online, where I've got it from, because that's how I read, Money and Banking Online. By God, if you want something exciting in your life, that's the magazine to read. But no, it's not. Of course, it's not. I got it from Leicestershire Live, of course. Again, is this one of the reasons why nothing is happening at Leicester? Because he was sorting his own future out first.
Yeah, the thing is, the fans have questioned this, haven't they? Is something happening at King Power? What's happening? Have they lost money? Have they done this? Have they done that? There's a lot of questions the fans have actually asked to this scenario, and
Yeah.
Now this AOT things came out about the airports of Thailand regarding the contract and that. It's like, well, what is exactly happening? Is it because Leicester City are not getting their ducks in a line, are they? The other clubs are, Leicester on, and it just felt like something was very much off away from Leicester City and maybe in other parts of what's happening in Thailand and that. So obviously there's a lot to, I think a statement will come maybe about what's happening regarding the duty-free thing and that and the contract and that, because they're going to have to speak about it, aren't they, King Pal? They can't leave this type of thing. If the Bangkok Post have obviously come out and said,
well, they've got to, I think. I don't know if they're in, are they privately owned or are they got share? I don't know. Something that will have to be mentioned about that at some point, which hopefully will then filter down to something being said about Leicester. His mother, Vichai's late widow, also has a new role as well. She is. What is she going to be? Become senior chairman of the King Power Group. She was formerly group chairman. Look, I could say it's toss your bit of paper in the air and see what it comes down written on. Got relegated. You may have noticed that, Jack. We got relegated, and as such, a lot of are going to be after players. We know that. We're hoping that the ones that everybody wants are the ones we don't, but that is going to be very, very unlikely. Would you be sorry to see this guy go? Atlanta, who obviously have got Luckman, they're about to lose Luckman, and the team have ED as a possible replacement.
I'd keep him personally. I think in the Championship he was good last time. He might not be the most consistent player. I know what he can be like. He can be good on his day, and then he could probably go missing on others. So he's one of them players who he never really hit the Premier League the way he'd hoped, and he didn't really get much of an opportunity, did he, under Steve Cooper and Van Nistelrooy and that. And this is the problem with Steffi's future. Will the other manager fancy him? Can he be a part of the plans? Because Fatawu and Mavadida never got the chance to actually play together, did they, under Steve Cooper? And obviously Fatawu got injured when Cooper was here, and then he obviously Van Nistelrooy come in, and he was never fancied. But I mean, if say they offered £15 million, the Serie A, they're not going to. They're going to fucking lowballers, aren't they? Like they always do. Bologna, when they said, "Oh, we'll pay 13 million for Christians," and then they said, "No, we'll give you 5." And Leicester were like, "Well, hold on a minute, you were 30." So this is what Leicester's situation is going to be. They're going to try and see Leicester City in a desperate attempt to sell players, and they're going to say, "Well, you've been relegated. You do want to get rid of players. How desperate are you to get rid of these players? And this is the amount of cash we're going to give you." But Leicester have got to play hardball, Chris, with these teams, because if they don't, they're just going to walk over us.
Oh, they are, definitely 100%. You're so right there. And, we've got to be careful that the baby doesn't get thrown out with the bathwater. And there's certain ones that we want to get rid of, but there's certain ones we want to keep. All right, he's not a youngster anymore. He's 27. I actually classed him as a youngster, and Phil from Leicester Fan TV corrected me and said, well, he's 27, 28. But when you compare them to Bobby De Cova-Reid and Jeremy Ayew, he is a youngster. He's got 3 years left on his contract, so that's good. We can hold out. And
I've got some for you, Chris. The Bangkok Post. I've actually got it for you. So it says King Power is seeking to end the contract with Airports of Thailand PLC, Airports of Thailand, for its duty-free business at 5 international airports. The AOT said on Monday that King Power Duty Free Co. had informed of its intentions to cancel the contract to operate duty-free shops at certain airports. I do believe the AOT stock has gone down. I think someone said it was, if you watch, I think it was a link that Locks put out the other day on his Twitter. They're saying the stock's gone down, and that'll obviously affect King Power as well, won't it, if the stock's gone down? Because that'll show that the duty-free shops are doing no good. Well,
it's interesting to say, and obviously, look, they were hit very badly by COVID. We know that, and that nobody was ready for that, and that kicked us in the teeth, more so than a lot of other owners. But it's interesting that you said that it's King Power that are looking to cancel the contracts. Yeah. Now, are they trying to play a very sneaky game here and saying, well, look, we want better rates, or we're going to cancel the contracts? So they may be playing a very clever game here. That's interesting when what you said on that King Power was looking to cancel them. That's interesting.
It's crazy.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I know they have got fingers in other pies. They've got hotels and they've got shopping centres and what have you. But obviously, the airport is, I would have thought, their biggest cut of pie.
That's the economy, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And as far as I thought, that tourism was going back up all over the world. But, I suppose, depending on what Israel, Palestine and Iraq or Iran still decide to do. Israel, again, that one will run and run. Just going back then to Stefan Mavridis, like I say, it's 3 years left on his contract.
Yeah.
So we don't have to sell.
No.
Depends. I think it depends how hard we get hit by PSR. Do we have a business plan put on top of us? If we do, that business plan will say you've got to raise 30 million. And so we might have to. Apparently, they're not going to come in and say you've got to sack him, and him. But they're just going to come in and say you've got to raise the 30 million, however you do it, and then you look at players like this. So apparently, they've been interested since 2020. And the problem is, and I'm going to say that all these players that we had, and I know I did a show with Brad, 2 shows the other day, where we rated all the players, and most of them didn't come out of it very well, obviously. I think you've got to kind of not judge these players on last season. Nobody played well last season, really. I know there was a couple of decent performances, but we know. Look at how he played when he was playing in the Championship, and look at how he played when he was in the Premier League. If it was just him, you could say, well, maybe he's not good enough to be in the Premier League. But I think you've got to look at it and go, well, the whole team wasn't good enough to be in the Premier League, was it? And as Blue Fox said, prefer him to stay, but if the price is right, come on down, he's got to go. But, I'd love to have Lookman back, but obviously that's just a pipe dream. He's going to go on to somewhere bigger. But of course, Italy haven't got that much money, have they, the Italian team?
No, they'll tell you they're going to spend big on your players, and then they'll lowball you afterwards.
Yes.
They get you all excited, and then that's it. It's like a balloon, isn't it? Gets excited, fills up, and then bursts.
I've had a few women like that. But let's not go there. We're not talking blue balling.
Best to move on.
Yeah, I think so. Please StreamYard, don't make that one of me clips, please. So again, these are all rumours, and a lot of these obviously are agent stories as well. But we've got to read them even if they are agent stories. So, his assistant manager has gone.
Yeah,
his assistant manager has gone. Had no tie to Rude or Leicester at all. He was one of Pep, sprinkled with Pep dust. And he came in and he's got the chance to go and manage another club. Again, to me, when I read this, I don't blame anybody for wanting to get on. Why would he stay at Leicester? So he's got no ties. But surely that's just another nail in Rude's coffin, isn't it?
Yeah, this one is very much, you can read in between the lines to what's happening. They want to get out there quickly because they don't know what their future holds at Leicester City. Brian Barry Murphy, I think Jelly's one of them as well, the goalkeeping coach, who he looks to be on his way out to potentially Brighton or whoever team's going to hire him. So they're looking at sorting themselves out, which they should do, because you don't want to be out of a job and then you struggle to get another job. And Yeah, this sort of tells me, like, Chris, with the backroom staff that's looked to be leaving Leicester City, this sort of tells me that Ruud van Nistelrooy's future, it looks like the conclusion's coming. And this is what they're going to look at. I mean, Brian Barry Murphy, he managed the under-23s at Man City, done a very good job at doing that, like Enzo Maresca did as well. And then they're all part of the Pep bloody system, aren't they? So I think he'll do all right at Cardiff. Ruud, that's the thing. He's losing all his backroom staff. They're not going to hire anymore, I don't think. So I think this just tells you is what you want to know about Van Nistelrooy's future now. They're not specifically coming out and saying we're getting rid of Van Nistelrooy, but you can kind of look at it now from a perspective with everyone leaving and that's going to be the sort of conclusion.
Well, the goalkeeper coach as well, he's been linked, I think, with Brighton, hasn't he?
Yeah, and West Brom.
And West Brom, yeah. I mean, when he first came in, Ruud, he didn't actually bring an assistant manager with him, did he?
No, he brought Andy King in, didn't he? That's another PR stunt, to be fair, by the club. Yeah,
you're probably very right with that, to be honest with you. And doesn't it the fact that Southampton have named their new manager, Plymouth have named their new manager, Cardiff have now named their new manager. Oh, Leicester haven't yet. I mean, it's got to be surely this 1st of July. We're all going to be busy that day doing. Guys, if you're watching, you just take your pick of which show you want to go on, because we're all going to be probably doing the same news at the same time. But I can't be, I'll be saying like Cardiff City have got a new manager before Leicester City have. It's just how things are, isn't it? How far we've fallen, really.
I think it's because these teams ain't in PSR problems. And Leicester are. And if Leicester then now came out, Chris, say this evening and said, we're sacking Van Nistelrooy, we've sacked him, and we're bringing in Danny Roll, whoever it is, as new manager. It goes against PSR this year, done it before the PSR year ends. So this is what I think they're doing. I think they're lining themselves up with Van Nistelrooy is going to be sacked in the new PSR year, so it goes for the good PSR year, so they can't get a bloody PSR bloody charge again. And they're going to bring a new man in, whoever it is, because if they did it now, it's going to impact them even further with PSR, and I don't think the club are looking to do that.
Totally agree. We said it earlier, and if that's the case, then if only they'd come out and just said it again, because it's creating such a toxic atmosphere, isn't it? Because we all don't know what's going on, so we're all kind of criticising and moaning and what have you. Like two old women with the curlers in over the back garden fence. Or do have you seen what's happening at number 27? And it's getting like that. But if they came out and said, "Look, we will let you know what's going to happen early July," and we'd all go, "Oh, new PSR season, we know." It's all we need, just little, not full details, but just bits of the story. But, I think we know more about what's going on in MI5 than we know what's bloody going on at Leicester City, I'll tell you. But do you fancy a new striker to replace Jamie Vardy, Jack?
Yeah, I think that's got to happen. I don't think Daka's the man. I'm sorry. There's been many managers who have not been good enough with Daka. I mean, Brendan Rodgers didn't really fancy him. And then you look at Ruud, Steve Cooper, just hasn't worked out, has it? I think Daka needs a new chapter in his football career now at another club. I think if he went back to the Austrian Bundesliga or wherever it is, I think he'd do better. But yeah, it's just
not. We don't want any player to fail, though, do we? When they come in, we don't want them to fail. And look, he came in 4-1 game against Moscow in Europe, and you're suddenly thinking, "Whoa, here we go. This is fantastic." It hasn't worked out, and it's not going to work out for him next season because we know what he's been like in the Championship from when we were down there last time. But is this the guy? Is this the guy we need? City are weighing up a move for Leeds United's versatile forward, Sam Greenwood. I don't think we'll go for him because he's not in his 30s. But who knows? Who knows? Is he the answer for you?
No, not at all. From what I hear from Leeds fans, they're happy enough to get rid of him. They'll snap your hand off for £4 million, and then you got Middlesbrough fans. he goes missing more times than he has good games. I mean, the best thing he did at Middlesbrough, according to them, was scored that free kick against Leicester. And Leeds fans tell me, well, the only thing he's good at is a free kick specialist. And I'm just like, is that all he's got to his game? Is that what you're telling me? I want to see what his all-round game is like. He says he's a good passer of the ball. They brought him in as a striker, Leeds United, but he never became that striker. He were always on the wing or centre attacking mid. They say he's a bottom sort of championship, bottom off sort of player. He's not a top-end championship player / Premier League player, and they don't think he's good enough. He's not lived up to the hype and the expectation and that, but he's not good enough. I wouldn't want him at Leicester City. I don't think he's better than El Khanouchi. He definitely ain't better than Mabadidi and Fatawu. And I don't think he'd be better than Patson Daka.
Well, no, I mean, he made 45 appearances last season. He can play as an attacking midfielder, out wide, or as a central striker. So if Rude stays, he'll probably put him in goal. But he's not. Michael said there, Green was a League One player. Look, we want to be back in the Premier League, and whether that's going to be after one season or we're going to get a points deduction, and maybe we don't make it back for 2 seasons. But if Leeds, who've had him in the Championship, he wasn't good enough for Leeds, so they loaned him out. Now they're in the Premier League, they want to get rid of him. That, to me, doesn't say this is the player we should be going for. No,
I agree, Chris. This is the thing. You always need quality in your squad to get you going. You know that. We've got quality. I mean, Jeremy Monger's probably better than him. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
The thing is with him, and you can see it with Preston. Preston fans said the same. He wasn't pulling up trees there, and that's no disrespect to Preston, but they were on the verge of relegation last season. So read into that what you will. And if Preston were not going to take up the £1.5 million thing they could have signed him for, transfer fee, and Middlesbrough got the same of £1.5 million, that shows how crap he is.
We've not got a good record when it comes to signing players that have been out on loan at Preston, have we?
Oh, no.
Do you want to borrow my fan, mate? I can send me fan down the line. It is bloody hot, isn't it? You know, especially if you've got lights on for the camera. So we'll try and speed up for you, mate. I think we've agreed on that. He's not the man for us, which probably means we'll bloody sign him. Now, PSR hanging over us.
Yes.
Sheffield Wednesday, and look. Milan Mandrić sold us, and he sold us to King Power. And as unhappy as we are at the moment with King Power and moaning about Top, I wouldn't want any other owners. I want Top and King Power to still be there, but to sort it out. Yeah. Milan Mandrić sold Sheffield Wednesday to this, and he's unpronounceable, the guy that owns it. And look at the shit that they're in. So and in fairness, also, Milan Mandrić sold Portsmouth to Gadmark or Gademark or whatever he was called. Yeah. He was one of the biggest criminals ever and got Portsmouth down to the 4th tier. So we've struck lucky in a way. To get a ban, and he's not paid the wages, I accept that, but it's a 3-window transfer ban. Now, if they're giving Sheffield Wednesday that, and so that's this summer, the January, and the next summer, that's buggered Sheffield Wednesday up, and it's probably going to see them go down. But it also makes me think, what the fuck are they going to give to Leicester City?
Yeah, this is the situation. Chan's here is a lunatic. The guy, you don't ever know what you're going to get next. And Sheffield Wednesday fans want him to sell the club. And he's had many of occasions where they've made offers for the club, and Danny Rowe's had enough. He wants to leave. Maybe Leicester City are waiting for him to make that decision on him. Maybe that's why he didn't take the Middlesbrough job or the Wolfsburg job, because maybe he's got something agreed with us. Who knows? But Sheffield Wednesday, free transfer window ban. It's probably going to see them relegated this season, and then you could potentially see them struggling again in League One. because they're going to have to bring the academy lads through, because they've offered a lot of contracts to these other players and they can't sign them now because they're not allowed to do anything in transfer regarding money. So they're in the shit, which is it's a shame to see clubs in that type of mess. And Leicester are in a mess themselves. But with Leicester, they've been charged 3 times by the Premier League, haven't they? And with PSR, and we beat them last season twice. They fucking had enough. They said, well, we're closing the loopholes now. Me and the EFL, we're going to team up here, Leicester. Well, we'll punish you, Leicester. We'll get you.
Yeah, which you can understand, in fairness.
It is, because if you've done a crime, you do the time, don't you?
Yeah.
And this is the way the EFL have gone about it. They're saying, well, we'll see what the Premier League do to you, Leicester. And if they've got you over a barrel, we're going to take you over that barrel as well. And we're going to do you at the same time. It sounds a bit like a bloody scene, but nah.
I mean, do you think, though, Danny Roll, there was one of the fans' favourites to get the job.
Yeah.
He's at Sheffield Wednesday now, and he's thinking, fucking hell, this club's a joke. You know, I've got a 3-window transfer ban. I can't buy anybody. Where should I go to? Oh, I've been offered a job by a club that's under threat of PSR. They may have a transfer embargo. They may be docked points. Yeah, frying pan, fire. I mean, we ain't going to get him, are we, if this is the case?
Leicester have got to pay a compensation. I know I spoke to Rob Tanner about it the other day, and he said there's a compensation fee. When I speak to Sheffield Wednesday fans the other day, they say it's about £2 to £5 million the transfer compensation for Roll to leave Sheffield Wednesday. Right. So Leicester, they're going to rather go for a manager. I know Roll would suit that way of top thinking of style of football. Yeah. But then you've got managers out there who are on a free, like Michael Carrick, who is out of a job, who would very much probably take Leicester because he plays the way of Enzo Maresca. And the only one who doesn't play that style of football is Sean Dyche. So Rob Tanner said that doesn't look like that had happened, Sean Dyche. But he said never say never in football. He said rookie might change Top's mind. But Leicester's basically in the shit with PSR. Premier League, EFL, they're both going to slap us silly, aren't they? They'll want to make a statement to the rest of the leagues to say, well, if you fuck with us the way Leicester did, you're fucking getting it as well. So don't even think about it now. And this is what they've done, closed the loopholes. They've said to Leicester, well, you found it funny last time. I was saying, oh, yeah, well, we was in a different league. Well, this time you can't even use that excuse. So you've used all your bullets. We've got one left for you. So it's how they're going to handle it, Chris, now. And I think they'd want to go to the extreme with us, to be honest. They'll want to make a real
I just want to say, I'm just absolutely fed up with PSR. Let's just say, whatever we get, if it's a fine, pay it. If it's points deduction, accept it. Let's just do it, and then we can move on, for God's sake. John makes a good point. How true it is. If they don't get paid at the end of the month, players and probably the manager can cancel their own contracts and leave. Because has it been 3 months already? So this will be the 4th month.
Well, I heard from a source at Sheffield Wednesday, one of the good friends of mine who does the one of the podcasts, and he said that. I said, what happens then if you don't get paid the second time? And he said Danny Rowe can cancel his contract and walk for free. Apparently, Chris Powell's contract and that at Sheffield Wednesday ends at the end of this month. So Leicester wouldn't have to pay for them. And Danny Rowe could leave for free if he isn't paid. So maybe this is the way Danny Rowe leaves Sheffield Wednesday. He leaves on by not getting paid, and then Leicester don't pay the compensation. So it's true what John said. I've heard the exact same thing from reports in Sheffield.
And at least we'll pay him, whether we'll have any money to buy players, but at least he'll get paid. And of course,
we've got a good side. We've got quality in this team still. What you can
We have. I mean, I picked my team, taking out players that I thought would leave, like Hermansson and possibly El Khanous. I thought that with the youngsters, we've got a damn good team. The side news on this, the interesting side news, Milan Mandžić is talking about buying Sheffield Wednesday back to save them from the brink. And look, Milan Mandžić is all he ever does is buy the clubs to make a profit on them, which is fair enough. But Sheffield Wednesday were in the shit, Leicester in the shit, Portsmouth were in the shit. They were all in a better position when he left. So fair play to Milan. I liked him. I really did. Right. Talking about managers.
Go on.
And look, will it be Sean Dyche? Who knows? Will it be Danny Roll? A lot of people hope so. Chris Wilder's available.
Jesus.
Not your cup of tea here, Jack.
The thing is, I've seen some of the fans call these type of managers dinosaurs on social media, and it's not the way you want to go going forward. Chris Wilder has done good at of what he's had to be given at Sheffield United. You know, the tools that he's had to work with, he's worked with them fine. You know, teams who have not got a lot of money, but they can sort of, because he's had PSR problems at Sheffield United anyway. They got points deduction and that. So he's had the same issue. Chris Wilder, for me, he's not one that I'd look at personally. And we need someone who's very young, up-and-coming type of manager, someone who's not a given name to these type of jobs in the Championship. And Chris Wilder, he's been at Middlesbrough, he's been at Sheffield United twice. The thing is, Chris, he's got Sheffield United in some great positions in the Championship. In the Prem, that was awful, but...
Well, he kept them up the first season. Let me put this to you. And I do get what you're saying about him, but is the next manager literally a short-term project? Do we have somebody like Danny Roll coming in that, in fairness, it might take him a while to build the team up and what have you? The players we've got, we know, very confused about what they're supposed to be doing. They don't know whether they're coming or going. But let's say we need a manager that's going to be with us, say, 2 years. 1 year, maybe 2 to get us up. And maybe a third year, if it's an extension or a 3-year contract, to keep us up. Because if we do get up, let's be honest with you, let's say we get promoted at the end of this next season, the most we can be probably looking for is 15th at the season after. We're not going to go up there and immediately start qualifying for Europe again. We've got to build back up. No, we're not, are we?
No, we're not.
So is Chris Wilde or Sean Dyche the manager that say that will get us back up, because that's what they're good at? Both of them got teams up. Both of them kept teams up. And then after that, you then move on to the next stage, to somebody to take you to the next step. Because Daniel Farker, who's obviously gone to Leeds, very, very good at getting teams up, but can't fucking keep them up.
That's the issue Leicester's facing, isn't it? This is it. And that's the question. You've got to bring in the right man. Leicester always, in their statements when they hire these managers, don't they, Chris? It's always a long-term project. It's this.
Yeah.
It's that. With the new manager, and say it is Danny Rowe, they've got to back him. They have to back him. It's no lying through your teeth and saying, oh, we'll back you and we can't, and you know you can't. Tell the fucking truth. Put everything out on the table for this new manager and just basically go with a clean slate. Just say, you know what, we have probably got things wrong with their last appointments. I mean, Steve Cooper, one of them, who on this day a year ago became Leicester City's manager. Not the fans' favourite, of course. Not like Nigel Pearson, who another one in 2008 on this day became Leicester City manager for the first time and got us up from League One. First time of asking, by the way. So Leicester have got to get this appointment right, and they've got to know what they want. And this is what Leicester City's issue is. They don't know what they want. They don't know who they want, the style of football they want. There's just no plan. I mean, Michael talks about Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche is good in the Championship. He's done it. He was frustrating at Everton.
He got Burnley into Europe.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
And the thing is, right, Leicester will probably, look, if they're talking to Nick DeMarco again, which I'm pretty much sure, I think it's safe to say they are doing, they're going to be looking, and they will have some idea of how they're going to be hit. They'll be sat there thinking, like, the chances are we could get a management plan here, and a transfer embargo. That means that we can sell, but we can't bring players in. So what manager the decision then has to be made is, you don't know, again, look at the transfer windows, 3 for Sheffield Wednesday. If we get 2 or 3 again, do we want a manager that can come in with the players we've got and go, you do this and you can do that and you can do that, so I'm going to play to your strengths? Or do we get another Ruud van Nistelrooy type that tries to put players square pegs into round holes and it all goes fucking wrong? Because if we're not careful, we could turn into Luton Mark II.
Yeah, I think it's got to be the first one you said. It's got to be a manager who can work with what he's got. And if it isn't,
does that then mean a Sean Dyche or a Chris Wilder?
potentially, I mean, Sean Dyche is Brexit football, isn't it? Let's be fair. It's just hoofing it long, big striker up front. And
you know what? He'd have got the ball to Vardy more than we bloody did do last season. I tell you.
Chris Wilder, I think he brought, was it Raksaki, was it, from Crystal Palace he had on loan last season. I thought he was fantastic. Chris Wilder's quite good with the youth. He got a few through at Sheffield United and a few young lads. So I think he's quite good with the younger players. I'm not saying bringing them through from the academy, but he does sign quite a few young players in these Sheffield United sides and get some more experience. So I don't know. Some people would call it a dinosaur appointment, wouldn't they? But
yeah. I mean, I'm thinking my glass is always half empty, and I'm thinking, right, if we get this transfer embargo, we are going to have to make the best of what we've got. And I think that, for me, that was the biggest thing that the turkey that calls himself Ruud van Nistelrooy did last season, was he didn't look at the players and go, look, I like to play this formation, but these players can't play it. 15 out of 18 games playing the same formation, the same players, we lost. Something's going wrong. So try and make the players play to their advantages. And funnily enough, I'm just looking here on Transfer Market. Chris Wilder's preferred formation is 4-2-3-1. So it's not a million miles away from Ruud van Nistelrooy, is it?
No, we had Kiefer Moore as a bloody striker, and he runs like fucking Vestergaard.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, he's not a 4-4-2 merchant.
No, he's not. This is the way football's changed now, isn't it? It's like when Leicester used to play Matty Fryer and Steve Howard up front. Football ain't that anymore. It's like one man up front and then using the pace to your advantage on the wings.
It is. But I was expecting to see. I wasn't expecting to see 4-2-3-1 for Chris Wilder's preferred formation. Defensive. And
this choice is the same, though, isn't it? 4-2-3-1.
Well, I'm actually, as you said that then, I'm just looking at it here. It doesn't say. Typical. The Transfer Market have watched Ruud van Nistelrooy's games and gone, we've no fucking idea what formation he likes.
Or at the back, I don't know fucking what we're doing this season. Yeah.
But, for me, I just want to see the ball going forward.
Yeah.
We say, look, Vardy's gone, bless him, we love him for what he did. He had a shit season, but then who didn't? But he never got the ball. How many times was I reporting on the game and going, half-time and Vardy's had 3 touches? 4 touches, So what's the point of having... You could have had fucking Lionel Messi up there and, he wouldn't have scored, a bit like Inter Miami. But I wouldn't mind Chris Wilder on a short-term contract. Problem is, we always say, are they good with youth? Well, Rodgers was supposed to be good with youth. Cooper was supposed to be good with youth. Puel was supposed to... All these players that were supposed to be good with the bloody youth. And we never saw any youth, did we? So, oh, dear. Honestly, at the end of this show, I'm going to jump off my balcony. I really am. She's supposed to cheer me up, but it isn't. The Athletic saying, this was Rob Tanner, who you had on your show. He's a good guy, Rob, isn't he? He does a lot of the channels and what have you. Leicester's Van Nistelrooy limbo is excruciating and fueling anxiety around the King Power. Never has such a truer word been said. Rob Tanner, give him the hammer, and he's hit that nail right on the head. And that is what it is doing. It is causing toxicity, anxiety, the fans are turning against the club. Not that we want to, but it's just we're moaning because we've no fucking idea.
Rob's true what he said. He said the same thing to me on my show the other day when I were talking about it. He said a lot needs to change, and it is fueling anxiety. It's fueling frustration. It's because no fucker knows what's happening. He said the people at the club are in the dark with what's happening. He said the only ones that make the decision is Top, and Rudkin's his yes man. So whatever Top says, Rudkin will say, all right, Top, this is what we're going to do. This is it then. But I don't know. Leicester City has become very frustrated because of how things are being run, Chris. And this is what's got us to this situation because the decision making has been awful.
Yeah. Totally. Now,
they won't have to get that though, Chris. That's the problem. They'll think it's all roses and daisies at the King Power and it's all rainbows and shining, whatever.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Right. Leicester City must make a transfer call on 17 million midfielder as clubs circle. I don't know which fucking clubs they're circling after. I'm going to pay 17 million for this donkey. I mean, it's one of those players that we keep saying. Brad said it a lot this season, Redemption FC, players that we thought were absolutely rubbish, turning things around, like Luke Thomas, for example, and McAteer. This guy, he had a bit like, what was that Brazilian called that had one game against Aston Villa?
Tete,
yeah. I mean, he had more good games and good minutes than this guy had. I don't think he brings anything. If we can get 17 million for him, although I think it's the 17 million that we paid for him, I think that was what they're saying. We've got. I mean, he's got to be first on the list of who wants him.
I think there's a few more on my list before Somali. Jesus, you know what? Right, they're speculating in Spain. Spain's reporters who do Sevilla, they're saying it's worth about 12 million euro, which was about 10 million in English money, and they're saying that because Leicester's been relegated, they'll get him cheaper than that. So if they say to us, Chris, it's £7-8 million for Samari, if I can get our taxi booked and send him to Spain, he's not good enough. He's too slow. He just doesn't offer anything. He runs like he's in bloody quicksand. You can see little glimpses that there could have been a player there, but then that guy's not consistent. I've seen more consistent in a bowl of porridge than bloody Bruno Samari. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, indeed. I mean,
I think we've got to sell him. Personally, get rid. He's one of them I would get rid of.
Look, we all know we've lost nearly £300 million over the year on players that have gone for free and what have you. If we paid 17 and we're offered 9, 10, take it. I mean, somebody at Leicester was saying that, we paid 17 million for this guy. Don't fucking care. We got ripped off. If we're offered 10, take it. You know what I mean? And just move on. He's another one I never want to see anywhere near the club again. Now, interestingly, do you remember? I've lost my mouse. Hang on a sec. Do you remember? We had a very good player, Tavares.
Sidney Tavares, yeah. His last game at Leicester was Brighton away.
Yeah. And we all thought, what a good player. Rumours were he was quite a good player. I never really saw much of him. But then he went to play in Portugal. Yeah, is it good to be back? Because he's coming back to Blackburn Rovers, apparently.
Yeah, I've got friends who support Blackburn. They've asked me about him. I said he was the only all right player in the under-23s. Never really got much of a look in the first team. But then how many academy players do, Chris? They get sold more times and bringing them through, don't they, to the first team? So, he's made his mark in Spain. What was I going to say? Portugal, Porto. He made many appearances. I think he made appearances in the MLS as well. Yeah. Hasn't worked out for him at his last club, and now he wants to come back to England to prove a point. So I wish him all the best at Blackburn. He'll probably go score against us next season. He's a midfielder, though, isn't he? So.
He is, yeah. Well, let's fucking face it. If somebody said, "Oh, when we play Preston away, you know that Everson's going to score against us, don't you?"
The case.
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at this and I thinking like, is that somebody that maybe that we should have gone back in for? But I think we've got better than him there already with the likes of Alves, McAteer, obviously Canusi if he stays, Baybrook. I think we've got better options for youngsters. Although again, he's not particularly that young now. Than this guy.
Yeah, I think Monga's the star. He'll go far in the game. Will Alves, potential's there. Fantastic youngster. Very good. Can develop again. And Ben Nelson, fantastic for Oxford last season. Still young, still learning. And I think he'll do a job next season. So we've got some very good youngsters coming through. And we've just got to use them to our advantage, Chris. And this is where I reiterate with Van Nistelrooy last season. He always came out with the same thing. I like to use the youngsters. I like to see them progress and get better. And then all of a sudden, you never seen him play them. And I think, I think the only youngster we really seen come through prior to Steve Cooper was Marcel. Do you remember he scored in the Championship? I think it were against Cardiff. And we've never done that in recent years, have we? We've never really brought these youngsters through. We've seen.
I forgot all about him when I was doing because he's technically still a Leicester player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's come back now off his loan.
Yeah. So, I was doing my team that I would love to see, like I say, taking out the players that would be leaving because they might be bought or whatever. I forgot all about Sutar. I forgot about Chowdhury. There's not a bad squad of players. But again, talking about players that might be leaving, we've only got a couple of talking points left now. He's going, isn't he, Mads Manson? Apparently, Foxes of Leicester saying that he could choose West Ham United over Manchester United.
Yeah, I think it was ex-West Ham United employee. I think the name is on bloody X. They're the ones who's reported it. They've got about 160k followers. How much is true of where they find out the sources is another thing, but I wouldn't be surprised him leaving. I think he's a very sellable asset. I think it's one that the club will look to sell on because they've now turned down a bid from Norwich, haven't they, for Stolarczyk? Sort of tells me that he's going to be number one next season. Yeah, Mads, if we can get very good money for him, I mean, when he has been good, he's been fantastic. Look at that Arsenal game last season, 13 saves in one game, a phenomenal goalkeeping display. Come back from an injury, never the same goalkeeper, but I think if West Ham can give him that consistent run of games, a real fit Mads Hermansen, I think he deserves to keep pushing on in the Premier League. I'm surprised it's West Ham because I think he could go on and play for a big club.
But then that's not Manchester United these days, is it?
No, I was surprised it's not Man City.
Yeah. I mean, look, Onana, for God's sake. I mean, who'd want him? But, I mean, again, you look at Man United and you're thinking, look, players still want to go to Man United. But, I mean, they're in the shit was more than, well, they're up there with Tottenham. And I can understand him wanting to go to West Ham United over Manchester United. But, like you say, he is our most sellable asset. How many times, though, have we said, when players come back from injury, they're not the same? Ndidi, Ricardo, Justin, yeah. It all seemed to start when Dave Rennie left.
Yeah, I agree. And it's bloody this Seagrave curse, isn't it? That keeps, you could sign on the dotted line on the day, stub your toe at Seagrave and be out for 6 weeks. Look at Conor Cody. He signed that contract and then all of a sudden went to play the first pre-season game, lasted about, 20 minutes or so, and then he got injured.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that we replaced Dave Rennie with Harold Shipman, I'm sure.
Do you know what I think it is, Chris? It's because they keep swapping the medical teams time and time again. They're not finding the consistency with them. They just keep changing and changing.
Yeah. I'd like to get Dave Rennie back, but hey.
Well, Brendan Rodgers ended up getting rid of him, didn't he?
He did. Right, the last news item that we're going to do, another one that might be leaving, is Elkin. And the funny thing is, it's taken him a season to put up the fact that he's playing at Leicester on his social media. He's only just done that, which is funny now that he might be leaving. Look, I mean, Sports Witness here is saying, again, an insider has said that Arsenal are after him. Arsenal are after every single Leicester player every summer. I mean, last year they were after Maddison.
Getting a bit like Chelsea.
Yeah, but the thing is, Arsenal never get anybody. Yeah, the fans will put out. I mean, I remember they put a picture of James Maddison out in an Arsenal shirt. You know, how well did that work out, Arsenal fans?
Jamie Vardy, another one.
Yeah, but then James Maddison ended up going to Spurs. You know, is it too soon for him? Again, look, we can ask. Well, apparently there's a get-out clause in there for virtually what we paid for him. But maybe that's what it took to get him. Maybe he said, "I'll come to you, but I don't want a stupid get-out clause. I want a get-out clause if I want to." Do you think for 22 million, it's worth a Premier League side taking a risk on him? Look, he didn't set the world alight for us, did he? But he looked half decent, but that was probably because everybody else looked totally 100% shite. But I suppose if you're in an Arsenal position, you look at him, you think, 20 million, that's nothing to Arsenal or one of the top half Premier League teams, and they can develop him.
See, I don't think he's there yet.
No,
I think there's a lot of development in that. He's still got a lot to learn. I think if he went to Arsenal, it'd be a squad player, be on the bench and coming on every 10 minutes or so, and that'd be it. That'd ruin him altogether. He'd end up leaving. But the thing is with Bilal, and I know where this bloody Sport Witness page has come from. I think it was called AfricaFoot.com on X. They're the ones who've been reporting about this. Yeah. And then Sasha Tavlieri come out this afternoon and said there's been no contact between Arsenal and Bilal El Khanousi's representatives. And I know Sasha was the one who reported about the buyout clause. So the thing is, Chris, we brought him for 23 million pounds. You don't want to make your money back on him. You want to make more because that's a good investment because you know how good he is. You want to make 40 million for him. You don't want to make 20. You don't want to make your money back. You want to make an extra 17 million pound. And I kind of believe, because I asked this to Rob Tanner the other day, I said, is there a buyout clause? And we were discussing it on the show. And he said, Leicester City haven't put buyout clauses in contracts since N'Golo Kante left. Wow. So that tells me, is it just speculation, this contract clause? Because I think Leicester City are going to hold out for quite a bit of money for him this summer. And I think we're going to very going to play hardball with this transfer because we know how good he is. And if I sort of believe that if teams ain't going to pay £40 million is what's being reported on the EFL analysis, then, he's got 4 years left. What is it? I think he's got 4 years. He signed a 4-year deal at Leicester, so he's got 3 years left on his current deal. He's a sellable asset, but if we could then sell other players like your Ndidi, Samare, Christensen, Hermanson to comply with PSL, we could keep Helkinus. We could just go out and keep him, but he's got expectations, he's got ambition, and I'd be daft enough to think we can keep him. But I'm very much, the thing is there a contract clause? Because if there isn't, John Rudkin's got to play hardball with this one because Arsenal's going to come in and try and lowball Leicester, and he's a very good player.
Well, if what Rob Tanner says, as you said, we don't put release clauses in there, we can hold on to him if need be. As Blue Fox said, if we can keep him and he reaches his potential, his value will only increase. Totally 100%. It's look, the window is open. We know that. There's
just speculation.
Yeah, it is. It's agent talk, isn't it? They're doing their jobs, whether we like them or not. But all I can say is, Jack, it's going to be a very interesting but a very long season, isn't it?
I do think though, Chris, regarding BEK, that if the case comes of, do you know what? If he did do another year with Leicester, it would boost his valuation even more. Yeah. And if we do get to the Premier League again and he's a part of it, we could basically sell him the dream of how Dewsbury Hall was. Come down to the Championship with us. You've seen what Dewsbury Hall can do in the Championship. He teared it up, become our best player that season. You could do the same and then go and move on the season after. So maybe we could offer him that on a plate and he'd consider it. Because I think he loves it here. And
I think that I read the agent was, or somebody was saying was that they've said about if he wants to, be in the, World Cup squad or the Cup, African Cup of Nations for Morocco, he needs to be in the Premier League. But again, it could all be agent talk. Look, look at what happened to Kieran Dewsbury Hall, got his big move and hardly played, although he did obviously get a European medal, so fair play to him. But like I say, it's going to be a long season, mate. And, I'm only 21, it's just supporting Leicester that makes me look this old. But, Jack, thank you so much for coming in and coming on. Your link is in the description below, but have you got anything exciting coming up?
Well, I had Richie Wellens on the X-Fox.
You did? Yeah, that was a great one, mate. Nice one, yeah.
Yeah, go and check that out. We're hoping to get more players on, more ex-players or even current managers or ex-Leicester players. We're going to do transfer shows is when we hear news and that and just chat about it as we do because we need so much to chat about because the Club World Cup's on and Leicester ain't involved in it. So hopefully what we got 10 days until pre-season starts where the players are back and hopefully we'll hear a lot more and hopefully get the club sorted. But this PSR situation and points deduction scenario, take it easy on this Premier League and EFL, but I know they're not going to. They're going to throw the book at us, aren't they? And it's going to be a long season. And if it is 20 points or 30 points or 15 points, because Rob was on about it the other day, he thought it was going to be 12 because of administration. But he said Leicester's done worse than Everton. He said they've not complied. And they'll say to Leicester, well, you've not got no grounds to stand on. How can you sort of reiterate that you're going to sort of say that we've made the wrong decision?
Yeah.
And he's basically said that Leicester ain't got no grounds to stand on regarding what's that word I'm looking for, where they go against what the Premier League and the EFL have gave them the punishment for. I'm looking for that word. I can't think about it. But
I can't think either. No,
but that's what it is.
I know. I do know what you're saying, but we will see. Guys, do go and check out Jack's channel and subscribe to him if you haven't. Like I say, the link is in the description and the title on YouTube. We're here next Tuesday. It's the Foxes Forum. God knows what we're going to talk about. There's nothing happening at the club. But next Thursday, it is fixture release day.
Yes.
So join us at 11:45 when we'll be doing we'll be reporting on who we've got, when we've got them, etc. And then at 6:30 that night, I've got Dan on. Everybody that knows Dan is my surrogate son on YouTube. Burnley fan who was in the Championship last season, and we'll be doing an extremely early league prediction show. With that in mind, Jack, who do you want on the opening day? I said Coventry last season, and I got it right, actually. We did get Coventry, didn't we, last time in the Championship? I said that to Phil from Leicester Fan TV yesterday, and he was saying that he wants an easy game. He doesn't want a tough game, which he thinks Coventry will be. We all want a home game, so that's taken. He said, I don't want a Wrexham, I don't want a Coventry or, an Ipswich or Southampton. Who would you like on the first day for our first game?
See, I think they're going to try and make it tasty. And I think they'll play one of the newly promoted League One sides. So I tell you what, I think it'll be Wrexham.
If it is Wrexham, we know we're going to be playing Friday night on Sky.
Yeah, that's what I think is going to happen.
A relegated team against a newly promoted team always always attracts the cameras, doesn't it? So your money's going on Wrexham. Nip down the betting shop, guys. You heard it here first. And if it doesn't come in, blame Jack. Jack, mate. Yeah, I'm just writing that down. Wrexham at home. We'll talk again, obviously, during the season and probably before as well. Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
Cheers,
and all the best to you.
Cheers.
Thanks very much to Jack there. Really appreciate him. It was last minute when I asked him to come on, and he did very kindly come on. Those are the latest rumours. I don't know how. I'm feeling very at the moment. This club. But it's as Phil said yesterday, Leicester Fan TV. He said on my show yesterday, it's our club. That's the thing. Not sure when we'll be back, if we're back before, but Tuesday 7, Fox's Forum. We'll find something to talk about. We always do. And then on Thursday, like I say, 11:45, stick it in the diary, or even click notifications and you'll never miss another show. We're going to have the fixture announcement, and then 6:30, the prediction show. Thanks for listening. If you have been on your favourite podcast platform, thanks to everybody that was in the chat. And if you're watching this on catch-up, stick your comments in below. Let us know what you think. Take care, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.